So I'm outside again today. March is all about strength, and nothing except for this last year has taught me so much about strength. So the thing that we're going to work on today is strength of the upper body, because I find that is a good place to start. So we'll be using the lower body in fixed positions and building some strength in our upper body. And as you practice, think about what strength means to you. And the thing I like about doing a strength workout is it's very grounding. So we're going to start with centering, and then we're going to get right to it. But one thing that you might want is a strap. And I mentioned this in the comments for the post today. This is a broomstick, and Mr. Mann is using this now for his shoulder. But we're going to be doing a little shoulder mobility, because when you work strength in the upper body, and as you age, you're going to want to keep the thoracic area mobile. So we're going to be using that as we go into some strength building postures with some breath work. So let's come to a seated position and close your eyes for a moment. Go ahead and stack the vertebrae. Let the hands come to the thighs or the knees and rest downward and lengthen through the spine. Tilt the chin. And let your eyes rest on the tip of your nose with your eyes closed. Then bring your awareness to the breath. And so as you inhale, once you draw the breath either from the tip of your nose up to the third eye, or from the heart up to the third eye. So just visualize that on the inhale, the breath traveling from those 2 points, between those 2 points, and moving upwards. So inhaling. And then as you exhale, I want you to picture taking the breath and letting it trickle down the spine slowly. If that means extending the count, that's fine. We're going to practice here for about 5 breaths or so. So an inhale from either the heart center or the tip of the nose up to the third eye. And an exhale down the spine, kind of picturing it expanding as it gets to the base of the spine. Again, drawing that breath in and out. And one more time in, and as you lift it in, breath in, retain the breath, draw up on the Mula Bandha, the sex organs, the anus. Tilt the chin slightly down, hold the breath, contain the breath right at that point, and a long, long breath, picturing the breath spreading down to the base of the spine as you exhale. And then blink the eyes open. We're going to do a little bit of warm up first. So you're going to inhale and start moving around in a anti-clockwise way. Inhaling forward, exhaling back, and no particular structure. Go with your inner flow. If you can, take your focus on that breath that we practiced at the beginning of the class. We're going to be using that in plank position. And we'll be doing a lot of work into our lats and our shoulders, and in particularly trying to locate some muscles that help stabilize us in positions of strength. And that draws on not a spiritual lineage or a practice or one method or not, but what I've learned a lot over my lifetime as an athlete or at CrossFit or dance. So we'll be working on shoulder stability today and thoracic mobility and building strength. As you come around to the center, reverse the direction. Just keeping that breath going, maybe revisiting that breath, bringing your intention back to the inhale, drawing up to the third eye, exhaling, letting that cascade down the spine and spread out along the base. Maybe you can bring your attention to the bottom of the exhale and feel the roots of that breath as you feel your sits bones on the ground. And then inhale to press forward. Exhale, bring the knees together, round the back, tuck the chin. And then inhale to come up. We're going to do cat and cow in just a minute, but which is a very good one for thoracic mobility. But if you have a strap or a rolled up towel, if you are a muscular person or you have stiff shoulders or you had a shoulder surgery, you know, if you had some kind of arthroscopic surgery and you're not aware of your limitations, this would not be one. If you're going to get a shoulder surgery, you'd want to get it first and go through physical therapy before you do this. But why I like a strap is it's really wide. A towel is not usually wide enough for most men. And some ladies, so to accommodate our shoulder flexibility. So what we're going to be doing with this strap or broom handle, so kind of the kind of thing that we did in CrossFit where you do a overhead squat and you press up into that and you draw your shoulders down in a stable place. We're going to be doing that, and we're going to be going forward and in theory back, but see, that's not wide enough for me to go back comfortably. So this has to be really long for some people. And what you want to do is try to keep your shoulders down while you're doing it. And if you can't go all the way back, don't worry about it. Just do what you can do. And you should not have pain. You're going to feel warmth. What I do is I wrap my hand around this so I have a little control to push out. And I wrap my hand around here, and I'm just going to push out first. So I'm going to push out first, draw my shoulders, kind of draw my shoulders down my spine, but not pinch them together, because I'm going to broaden across the back of my shoulder. So I may shake a little bit. It doesn't hurt. I can feel my shoulders. If you feel burning, you're going to bring your hands forward a little bit, and you might want to grab a little closer. And then you just want to feel that warmth in your back. You can feel your pecs are going to kind of hold it in place because I'm gripping a little bit or pushing out. So we're going to work with that breath in this position. So you're going to find this position here. Shoulders are in place and stable. Bring a little calmness, close the eyes. Bring the awareness either into your heart, looking down through the chin at the heart or down the tip of your nose. Inhale up to the third eye. And exhale, let it trickle down your spine. Try to relax your spine all the way down with the exhale. A couple more breaths like that. Noticing the effect on the back line of your body, on your spine. Take the exhale into the back of the heart. Inhale, third eye. Exhale down the back of your spine, through the heart, and let it fan out. One more just like that. And then open the eyes, and we're going to drop the arms down for just a second. Take the right ear to the right shoulder. Keep the shoulders down and relaxed. Pull the chin to the chest. Bring the head back up. Take another deep breath in, and then exhale the left ear to the left shoulder. Could have been vice versa. Doesn't really matter. And then on the exhale, roll the chin to the chest. And if you can attend to that breath, it's beautiful. You feel those roots growing as the chin comes to the chest. And keep those roots in place as you inhale and bring the head back up. Okay, so now you're going to grab, and we're going to be doing this back and forth. So you probably have already experimented knowing where we're going to go, but the things I want you to notice is I have really good feedback in this, so I can see my rib cage lifting, and actually ribs are supposed to lift, so that's not, as you're breathing, the ribs do respond to the breath, and so do the muscles around it. So I'm just going to notice how it feels in this position. I'm giving my joints some warmth, and probably about 10 times is enough. I'm just feeling my joints lubricating. Trying to relax my neck and keep the breath steady. And here's the trick: if you're used to this and you've had shoulder pain, not anticipate pain. Relax the jaw. Smooth out that anticipation of, ooh, I feel it there. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's okay. All right, so now that we've warmed up our shoulders a little bit, we're going to come into cat and cow, and then we're going to move a little quicker. I also recommend going into the sun. The sun is like a patch just like 10 feet away, but no internet, so I'm in the shade. It's really nice to do strength work out in the sun. So if you need to do that, that warms up your body, or at least in my estimation, doing yoga in the sun feels better than anything. So there you go. Inhale, you're going to lengthen, and then exhale, round and tuck the chin. And this is the part we're really going to pay attention to today, is right in here. We're going to use the earth to press against the earth. Now we're going to relax the shoulders down away from the ears and create the little hump in our back by drawing in our lower belly, pulling the pelvis towards the chin. But I want you to go back to that breath. You want to relax the head, so don't tuck it so much that it bothers you, but a nice gentle round. Feel your roots into the feet, and then take your attention into your heart. Look down through the chin inwardly into your heart, and take a couple of breaths here, inhaling and exhaling without any visualization or movement, just letting the heart expand. And exhaling. Imagine inhaling right into the heart, coming up from the ground, and exhaling through the back of the heart up into the sky. And then inhale from the heart to the third eye, arch the back. And then exhale and visualize it going all the way down the spine and fanning out. Down through the legs and into the toes, into the earth. Still doing that, inhaling. And exhaling. And then one more, inhale. And then exhale, push up into downward dog. Take a couple of breaths here, and then we're going to get moving. So we're going to do a little bit of a quick warm up. Take a couple of deep breaths here, and then walk the feet into the hands, soften the knees, hang forward. Again, that breath is really useful here too. Take your gaze either at the tip of the nose or into your heart. Breathe into the crown of the head. Imagine it going even further now, maybe past, extending beyond your head. And then as you exhale, let it trace your spine and sink into the earth. Take another deep breath in, and as you exhale, roll up slowly, one vertebrae at a time. You can walk up if you need to. As you get to the top, place the hands on the hips, take your feet wide, take 3 breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Open your eyes really wide so you're awake for the day. So, a strength practice with yoga is a lot different when it comes from a spiritual lineage where people practice over and over and over again. So I like to make it quick and wherever I can be. So we're going to do sun salutation, and we're going to move pretty quick. And I do push-ups in mine, and I'll cue you through that, but you can lower your knees and do them any way you need. I have a particular reason why I do injuries that I guard, and that's why I like the practice, because it's predictable for me and I can see where my body is that day. So we're going to start with a sun salutation, and this is really good in markers of flexibility, but it's important to working with strength and getting stronger. I'm going to start with my feet hip width apart. I'm probably going to go to my feet together, but not on the first one. Resting the hands down by the sides, finding that connection with the earth. Inhaling, lifting up, either swan diving down or coming through center. Hands on the ground or on the shins. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, plant the hands, step or jump back into plank. And we're going to hold plank here for a moment. Take some breaths here and picture that breath coming from the heart center up to or beyond the crown of your head. Keep the body nice and stable. If you're having trouble and it feels wobbly in the hips, lower the knees down, because today we're working on the upper body. So if you can't keep the upper body from lagging down, just lower the knees and keep it. And then inhale, lengthen, be aware, open the eyes. That was awesome. So I lost my Wi-Fi signal. So now we're inside. So now it really is like a strength training practice. I don't even know where it lost. I have no idea. So we're in plank position. We're right here. I'm going to try to carry you out. You're going to lower down. I'm carrying you out. Obviously, this is not YouTube worthy. But while I'm here, if you can, like my YouTube channel, because that will help me the most of all. Thank you all for your support. Okay. This is really like a Y class. I'm telling you what. Thunderstorms, music goes off. Internet outages, just like school too. The real world. Strength in the real world. There are many kinds of strength. Perseverance requires you to know all of them. Okay. All right. So we're in the middle of sun salutation. You might have finished it off. Okay. I'm coming through plank and holding plank. This is the key posture of the day. Exhale down. Inhale through cobra. And this is where I think I went off and I looked. If you need to wiggle here, wiggle here. I love wiggling here. And you're going to do the same thing. Broaden through the back. And take that breath and inhale it. And then exhale. As you exhale, lower the knees, sit back, child's pose. Relax and relinquish here. And then when you're ready, make your way into downward dog. Walk or jump the feet to the hands. Soften the knees. Fold forward. We're going to lengthen out before we come up. Inhale, lengthen out. Take a couple breaths here. See if you can get that breath in this posture, however you're holding it. I'm using my fingertips to push into the earth. You can also use the shins. A really good tool is pushing your shins into your hands and your hands into the shins, broadening through the back. Another deep breath in here. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, begin to roll up. Exhale when you get to the very top. And we're going to do it 2 more times, but faster. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale, drawing past the spine. Exhale, plank. I'm going to hold it for 3 breaths here. Instead of the downward dog, I'm going to hold the plank. Long, deep breath. Inhale. Exhale, let it trickle down, lower down to the belly. Inhale up. Exhale, child's pose, long, deep breath, same thing. Find roots. Linger there, find roots. Inhale up into downward dog and exhale. Hold here for just a moment. Look at the hands. Walk or jump the feet into the hands. Soften the knees. Pull forward. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, fold. Inhale, roll all the way up. Stretch up to the sky this time and back. Exhale, down. And one last time. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Walk or jump back to plank. Here's the fun one. Hold here. We're going to do 10 push-ups. So here we go. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. So lower your knees if you need to. You want your chest to touch in between your arms, elbows to draw by your side. You could also do it the way you've learned how to do it. So you could just, you could be wide and do those. I don't do them wide because of my body and it hurts, so I don't do it. So I use tricep push-ups, which are really handy. You can lower the knees here. I don't know how many that was. So it really is like a Y class. I think that was like 8. Okay. Regrouping. Let's do 9 and 10. Lower the knees, sit back, child's pose. Inhale up to plank. Exhale slowly down. Eccentric oxidant. Point the toes. Inhale up in cobra and linger here. Take some deep breaths in. Try not to relax in the lower back. So if you have to put your knees down and do something a little lower, be attentive and fixed in the hips. Maybe hard after your triceps got to work out. See if you can turn your head to the side. Ooh, that feels good. And then exhale through child's pose into downward dog. Ooh. Shake your head no and yes. Draw your attention to your breath again. Draw the shoulders down the spine, but run and through the tops of the shoulders. Walk the feet into the hands, soften the knees, lean forward. Maybe clasp your elbows. And then when you're ready, you're going to come to a seated position. And then we're going to grab our band again. And we're going to take it to the same length we had it before and just work that around again. And so we're going to do this 10 times too, but really slow, and just notice the changes or the differences. My pillows fell in the dirt. my goodness. Okay. And then using that breath, I like to coordinate it with this, and sometimes it's like the breath isn't coordinated with the movement, it's just within the movement. So I let the inhale and the exhale happen where they need to happen. But I take my breath down into the lower part of my spine as I move the upper part of my spine, so I can see what this movement's doing to the things that are stable. Like my hips should be stable. And if they're not, then I draw in the ab muscles. It's a reminder to have good posture, I suppose. And that's really important when you want to build strength, because you want your technique to match what you see in your head. And that's where a good coach comes in handy. So a lot of this I learned from very good coaches, like my coach at CrossFit Milk District, Joe, and you know, through my teachers of yoga and my dance teacher, and all the teachers that I've had for gymnastics even. I mean, you want good technique and you want to notice your body. That will help you be strong. And if you're doing yoga, you want to take care of yourself. You're going to get stronger. All right. So now the other strength component that makes it important. So upper body to be strong, you also need a strong core. A strong core is important in heavy lifting. It's important in yoga. It's important in life. So we're going to do some core work, and let me see. Okay, we're going to do some core work. Okay. So we're going to do a combination of fitness and yoga and maybe a little Pilates in there. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe some pole dancing if you've never done pole dancing. So first of all, we're going to get some flexibility in our spine by tucking the knees, but don't take them crossed. Try to get the knees together. Squeeze the knees together so that you have some push. I can't think of the words today. Push. And then drive your lower belly into the ground, and you probably are shaking here. You might have to hold up your head. You might have to put your head down. But you want to feel as you push your legs together, and you're trying to keep the feet fairly close to the butt, but if your knees bother you, this is going to be fun to do. You know, like you got to work on it. So that's step one. And we want to hollow out the belly, and we're going to roll forward. But we still want to have that expansion to breathe. You might use your hands to draw the knees a little closer to you, but I don't really have my hands on I'm just kind of like using it as a marker to remind myself to push in. And I'm holding here and breathing. And I'm going to exhale down. Stretch your hands overhead and take a nice deep breath in. And exhale it through the back of the heart and down the spine. Feel the roots. And I say cascade because I picture it kind of like water, so that it can saturate rather than, so it can go towards gravity, I guess is what I'm saying. So if I'm sitting up, it's going to go into the ground, and here I'm laying down, it's trickling from my inner realm into the ground. So it's just a visualization to help. We're going to bring the knees up again, tuck the chin. This time we're going to do the same kind of thing. You're trying to get the knees together. Keep the knees together, but we're going to extend the legs out, and for you it might even be up, and you might have to put your head down. So I said upper body, but this is my tip. If you don't have that strength yet, you start here to do it. So it starts with knees tucked, knees together. I'm going to squeeze together, curl up. Find comfort here and stability here. If I can't do this, I might use my hands. I might put my head down. And then you're going to extend your legs so you can feel the lower back press in. And you want to feel that engagement like we did when we were curled. If you don't feel it, you bring the legs up a little bit. till you feel it. You can also bend the knees until you feel it. If you start feeling tension in the neck and shoulders, you take it to the next progression, and you're breathing here. And again, that breath goes from the heart up to the third eye, or maybe a little beyond, and then sinks past the heart and down into the lower spine and out into the earth. And then release it out. And I hope you feel it, because I do. And so, if you have your band handy, a great way to practice the flexibility with the band a little less wide so you can get it behind you is to limit the range of motion. So now you can take that broom or that strap and you can make it smaller, and you can either have your knees up or down. I kind of like them up so that I can keep my spine the way it needs to be. And now I'm not trying to press the whole spine into the ground, just maintain that stability in my lower back by engaging my abs and finding my abs so that I can work my shoulders. So now I'm going to take my focus still on the core. I still want I'm still doing something for my core. It just doesn't feel like much, and it's really easy to slip out of it. So you want to keep your core really strong. We're going to play with the shoulders and our range of motion and see if we can gain a little range of motion by limiting how far we go behind our head. If you can't go all the way behind your head and touch the floor, that's no big deal. Just don't. Just go as far as it feels comfortable, and the breath is smooth and the movement is smooth and you're not feeling crunches or anything like that. We're going to keep the head down for this one. And I'm going to take an internal gaze, even though the sky is really beautiful. I'm going to look down the tip of my nose, my eyes closed. I could look into my heart. I'm going to see how that feels on my neck while I'm on the earth, because I might have a subtle shift where I'm pressing the back of my head into the earth, which isn't going to help my shoulders at all. So it helps to close the eyes, relax the gaze down the tip of the nose. The hands come to the hip, but I'm pushing out like I did before. I can feel the earth under my shoulders. My spine feels supported. My head feels like it's resting on a pillow, sort of. That seems to be where I'm going to stay. Inhale, and you're going to begin moving the hands overhead. And on this one, I truly think you could probably inhale in one movement and exhale it back. And this one would really be helpful if your inhale matched the arc overhead with ease, and the exhale back. And so people will often say, what are you supposed to feel here? And I would say challenge, but nothing difficult. Find where that trembling is coming from. Make sure there's nothing associated with this. You might notice tightness on one side or the other. Release that out. If you had your straps wrapped around, you want to move your wrists around a little bit. Bring your knees into your chest and don't worry about what it's like. Just relax. Bring them in. Tuck your nose. Rock a few times side to side here. Rock a few times forward and back if you're able to. And then we're going to return to our push-up position. So we're in push-up position. We're going to hold the push-up position and once again return to that breath. lower the knees, sit back into child's pose again. Rocking forward, we're going to take one static stretch pose. Bring one foot forward. I'm going to bring my left foot forward. And I'm doing my left because my left is my stronger side and my more flexible side. And my right hip is a little bit more open than my left, so it's a good one to demonstrate on. But what we're going to do is we're going to twist. So I'm going to be twisting to the wall behind me, the fence behind me, and I'm going to use this. I mean, it's a familiar posture. We do it all the time in yoga, but what I like about it is it's also one that they use for, range of motion work in CrossFit. They use this as a yin posture, and that's where the breath is informed from some of my yin work, is using the breath when you're in a really long hold to kind of train the mind to be okay with where you are, and it allows you to sink a lot deeper, and it's really good for your brain. So so we're going to be using this fixed position. A couple of recommendations: you can use a block. Today I'm not, because I'm going to limit my twist because I'm working on my upper body and I'm working on stabilization, and that's what we've been doing in the serratus anterior, and this is a really good thoracic mobility work and a strength move. So we're gonna, if you want, you can take a lunge position if you have that available to you. My knee is right over my ankle, but I am rotating out slightly, and I'm not, I'm using a lot of weight into my arm here. So I'm gonna use the floor in my fingertips so that I can bring lightness in the shoulder, which means my leg has to hold me up because I don't want to put all that weight in my fingertips. That's why I recommend a block. But what you don't want to do is push too hard into the earth, because you want to try to keep the shoulder nice and rotated. And I'm going to lift the hand up, and I'm going to take, let's take 5 of those breaths. So we're going to twist, bring integrity to the shoulder. Inhale and exhale, and inhale and exhale, and inhale and exhale, inhale and exhale. Lower down to a plank position again. Move the mat. Inhale. And then we're going to do 10 more push-ups. Lower all the way down. Cobra, exhale. Child's pose. Coming up on our hands and knees for cat and camel. So, for cat and cow, whatever you want to call it. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, round, and again, breathe through the back line of the body. Let it saturate down into the ground. A couple more like that. And then once again, you're going to take the other foot forward. So here, my right foot. So you might want to find, modifications on one side than the other. But the reason I don't want props as much is because I want to see what my body can do. And if I can't hold myself up, I'm going to give myself the next available place from that to build strength so I can hold it up and stamina. So we're going to open up to the other side. Really looking for the bottom shoulder to be floating, to have structure and some strength. Coming back down, stepping back into plank. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, child's pose. We're going to linger here. And when you're ready, we're going to come back up and we're going down to our Shavasana. And like all yoga practices, I have absolutely no idea what time it is. I said, oh, it's going to be a short practice, but it's not. Okay, so we're going to do a spinal twist, and we do this all the time at the end of yoga practice. We do what's called a cat stretch. You bring your knee across, yada, yada, yada. But one of the things about the upper body, and I actually affirmed it today when I was looking up something, but to hold, let me see how to explain that. For shoulder mobility and breath work in yoga, I have a lot of rib head problems, so I have a slip rib head right now. One of the interesting things is that you need it for rotation, internal rotation, which is something I struggle with in dance, making really corkscrew kind of turns. That inner rotation is very hard. That's usually where I pop a rib head out. Is something that where my rib heads are floating. So what we're going to do is we're going to lay on the ground, but when your shoulder won't do what it needs to do, or your body won't do what it needs to do, your hips will do it for you. So you might want to think about something for your knees, for this twist, and you might need it on one side and not the other. I use blocks too, but these are the best. So you put a pillow between your legs. No, I didn't say that. You put a blanket. But you want something like with a lot of cushioning. And I'm actually holding my knees to hold it in place. That's important too, because that's going to engage the core when you do it. So it's not a relaxing move. So you're going to be laying on your back. Your arms are in a T, and you're going to take your knees towards the right, and you want the left shoulder to be on the ground. And so if it's not, then you're going to want to do that twist so the knees are up on something. I find this is very useful though. It's like the last of winter in Florida. It's so nice here today. So I'm releasing in that right shoulder. I'm going to draw my rib cage towards my hip bone and suck my belly in. And then if you're ready, you can turn your head in the opposite direction. When you're ready, you can inhale the knees back through center or one at a time. That's also another safe way to return. Especially if internal rotation is troublesome for you, you're going to want to bring your legs up one at a time. And you'll know that because you'll experience pain somewhere in your body or tightness and holding. So we're going to open the arms out to the side again. Inhale and exhale them over to the left. Right shoulder is going to stay along the mat. As you inhale, your rib head may gently float up. You want the ribs to float a little bit. Again, going back to that breath as you inhale, lengthening out through the crown of the head, and as you exhale, sinking it all the way down the spine. And into the earth. Bringing the head back up center and then the knees back up. You can hug the knees in, and again we're going to rock side to side, but the head is down this time, so we're going to let the head go opposite the rock. Go ahead and plant the feet down, and then you're just going to windshield wiper the legs gently, not attending to the back, allowing it to arch wherever it needs to go. You can linger on one side if it feels good along the hip. As you linger on that side, just try to imagine relaxing the upper body, and again finding that breath all the way into the ground on the exhale. And then again, when you're ready, you're going to take the legs out into a comfortable position. We'll take a Shavasana, and I'll play my drum, hoping Mr. Alton will be better for our live yoga in the field. So he can return again with his beautiful music. And as you come into Shavasana, you're just going to allow your mind to quiet. We'll be here for a few minutes, and then the next thing you hear will be my voice. Bring your awareness back into your surroundings. Back into your body. Begin to move your fingers and your toes. Maybe roll your wrists, your ankles. And then move in a way that feels right to you. Maybe pulling your knees one at a time into your chest. Maybe rolling over onto a side. Taking a stretch, maybe that cat stretch. Any way that's intuitive to you in your body at this time. And then as you are ready, you're going to come into a seated position. We're going to stretch our triceps just a little bit. It's a nice thing to do after you work out. And again, it's a good way to bring your awareness into your shoulder and see what's going on. So you can use the strap. I would prefer, I usually recommend not using the strap for this one, especially if you have tight shoulders, just to see where you are and being okay with your elbows sticking out straight and instead of behind your head like the cute girl next to you or whatever. Because that's always a problem when someone's more flexible than us in yoga class, right? So I'm trying to reach the thoracic of my spine here. I'm not trying to reach the opposite shoulder. This in itself is an accomplishment. If you can touch the back of your neck without your neck hurting, that's awesome. If you have tight triceps, I am pressing on it to make sure that I'm touching it. And I'm not pressing too hard, but I'm aware that I have pressure there. And that's what I'm going to work out first. I'm going to assist it a little bit by taking my other arm overhead just to give it a little bit more push and slide it down my spine. And then I'm going to draw attention to my rib cage, draw my rib cage together, stack my vertebrae, relax my jaw. Training my body to be calm when my tricep is at its fullest extension, to know where that is. Exhale and take that down. Take the opposite ear. So that was my left arm. So I'm going to take my right ear to my right shoulder. I still can't like neurologically figure out if I teach mirror image or not. I can't tell once the video is on whether it's forward or backwards. So, and which device it's on, so I don't even bother. Whichever shoulder works for you is fine. Roll the chin to the chest and bring the chin back up. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. This is my hurt side, so or the side that is giving me pain right now. So I'm not probably going to do that. I'm just going to bring my elbow up because I want to keep my rib cage in place here. And I'm just going to give it a little stretch. And this actually feels really good. I'm using my elbow to push against my hand. And then I'm going to go back to the breath work. Again, the rib cage pulls together and down, so I'm engaging through my lower belly as well, which means I'm lifting up through the chest slightly, but pulling my shoulders down, but broadening across the back. There's a lot going on. Relaxing my jaw. And then release that out. Stretching the fingers. You might have been clenching them. Sometimes when we press down, that also using our hands, you might want to rotate your wrists. And then when you're ready, shake out the hands. And come into a seated position, and we'll say goodbye together with a couple of deep breaths in. Rub my hands together because it is actually kind of nippy out here for me. Bringing them into the heart center. Pressing gently on that heart center. Let's take a couple of those breaths right into the heart center rather than down to the tip of the nose, all the way into the heart center. And exhaling. through the back of the heart. And then as you inhale, draw the hands up to the third eye and the breath. Retain that breath, let it cascade down the body, into the earth, down the spine. Draw breath in again to the third eye. Lift the hands overhead with ease, so you might spread out the arms, you might open them wide. Hold that breath, retain that breath. Exhale again down the spine and into the ground, make connection with the earth. Bringing the hands back to the heart center, take a deep breath in, inhale. And exhale. And for each and all of you, I wish you many blessings and Sat Nam Namaste. Thanks for joining me today with the power outage, just like public school. You never know what to expect, and that's why strength is important. Thank you so much for joining us. See you next week, live in the field.